We are live. I was just moving this up and it stopped moving. Oh, because it gets hit by that. That's funny. Anyway, good morning. Hope you're having a great morning so far. I'm excited to talk to you guys about the 4 steps to an RN body breakthrough. This is our process that we use, but I want to talk about way more than this today. I want to talk about shoulds versus musts, and I think that's how we're going to start off. If you guys are watching this either live or on the recording, feel free to be able to just comment, let me know you're here. You can like this if you want more people to see it. Also, I'm going to notify everyone that we're here so that we can start off with hopefully a little bit of discourse, because I don't like to just stand here and talk at you guys. As much as you might think I love hearing myself talk, it is rather uncomfortable nowadays. So to be here with you guys is really what I want, to answer your questions, to be able to serve you. So let's dive in. So there's 4 steps to an RN body breakthrough, and we're going to dive into them. But first, I want to talk really quick. The precursor to all of this is understanding this piece, and this might be the most important thing that I ever talk about on these podcasts. So you might want to stick around for it. You might have heard this idea of shoulds and musts. And the key to really make everything happen is and to get the body we want and be able to transform, is we need to be making our shoulds our musts and have it feel easy. That's crucial, right? There's shoulds and there's musts. Our shoulds happen if it's convenient, or at best, if, I'll say they happen at best, right? If it's convenient, our shoulds, or they don't happen at all. And our musts, they happen all the time. And an example of a should could be like, I should clean my garage. I should get more sleep. I should start exercising consistently. But all the things that are important to you on some level, and me and everyone else, they are important, but they're just not really urgent. So because of that, they don't really get done. Musts, on the other hand, are so important that in some cases, and I will say in some cases, are so urgent that you make the time to do it. An example of a must are like, I have to eat, or I'll eventually not be able to function well. Or I have to sleep, at least a little, or eventually I will not be able to function. With that being said, when there is something that is a true must, we make the time. And if we don't make the time, it's not a must. And that's the truth. Now, you might disagree with this idea of should versus must, but that is life. And the proof to this, that we only do our musts, and, let's say we're in a position where we say, well, no, like even the musts aren't getting done. But if we have a must that's musty enough, right? Let's just say, worst case scenario, something happened. We were diagnosed with a rare blood disease which required daily blood transfusions. Not every 2 weeks. This is a new disease and we need them daily. If we don't drive 1 hour to go to this very special unit to get it done, sit for an hour, get the blood transfusion, and then drive home for an hour, if we don't do that, we will die. If that is the case, would this become a must? Of course it would, right? So that's a very uncomfortable way to create a must, though. And unfortunately, that is the situation some people get into with their health, right? They get into a position where, hey, look, either we're chopping that foot off because of diabetes, or you're getting this thing under control. And it's like, okay, I'll do it now, right? We never want to wait until things get into a position like that. But it makes sense because you're having so much pain in your body, you just have to go do it. It's just very uncomfortable, and I don't recommend it. There's another way to do it as well, right? The first way, like we said, is to have circumstances outside your control force you to change, but it's not ideal, it's not comfortable, but you will change. Another way that's more natural to make something a must that will feel easy is this. It's this 4-step process. So if you guys are excited for this, let me know in the comments. Say, woo! I don't know. Give me like an emoji. Let me know I'm not alone. I see 80 of you watching right now. So I know you're here. I can see your eyes. I can see you breathing. Drop a like. Let me know in the comments. Just say hi. The engagement helps promote it to more people, and we'll be rocking and rolling. So the 4 steps to an RN body breakthrough, or any body breakthrough, is to step one, create low pain, high pleasure, results-based actions. Oh, I do see a comment that I'm going to read. Oh, Marissa, what up? Good to see you. So step one is to create low pain, high pleasure, results-based actions. Now, what does that mean? As human, we have to understand human nature, right? Human nature is always going to be moving away from pain and moving towards pleasure. And if that's the case, if you think about the actions that come natural to you that you feel pulled towards, all of them generally fit into that bucket. Think about it. What happens if, or I will say, or if you don't do the action, it will give you a tremendous amount of pain, which is like the example I gave you before with the blood transfusions, right? Where if you don't do them, you will die. So either, like, if you look at any habit you do in life, anything you do consistently, either A, if you don't do it, you'll get tremendous pain, or if you won't get tremendous pain by not doing it, they are low pain and high reward. Let's give you an example of what a step one action or what would fit into a low pain, high pleasure action. Let's use Netflix. Netflix is low pain, high pleasure. No wonder, I think it's like literally 1 out of 2 Americans own a Netflix subscription or something silly, like 1 out of 4. It's like ridiculous. Why? How easy is it to go sit down and watch Netflix? Well, I'll tell you, it's pretty damn easy. Why? It's low effort, low pain, high pleasure. The problem is it's not a result-based action. Well, the result is, we get more out of shape and more, whatever. So what we want to do is create low pain, high pleasure, results-based actions. That's step one to having a breakthrough. So an example of that might be focusing on increasing your protein intake, right? And by doing that, all you're doing is increasing you're making sure that at lunch and dinner rather, you're having 6 ounces of lean meat. That's the only thing you're going to focus on. And to you say, well, I like chicken anyway. I like we'll say 93.7 Hamburg anyway. I'll just make sure I'm doing it. That's low pain for you. Now it's high pleasure because it's results based, and because it's high pleasure because you enjoy it. Because you're like, oh, cool. Like I like eating meat. It's fine. Now there's a lot of generalizations here, but that's assuming that's you. And it's result based because, of course, if you eat more protein, you're going to be fuller. You're going to eat overall less calories, and you will lose fat faster. Easy peasy. Cool. Now, step two is that you want to achieve a positive feedback loop. And this happens naturally. If you do step one, step two will happen. Think about it. If you do a low pain, high pleasure action, what is going to follow it? What's going to follow it is you wanting to do that action more. Why? Because it doesn't take a lot of effort to do. It doesn't take a lot of pain, but yet it gives you a lot of, we'll say, pleasure, and that pleasure can be from the action or from the result of that action. Is this making sense? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Once that starts to happen, we go to step 3, which is adapt and learn. And by adapting and learning, all we're doing is we're saying, okay, what was the action? How could I make the action different or add a new action on that can give me the same thing, low pain, high pleasure results? Or what was something I was doing that I could tweak so that it's easier to achieve that positive feedback loop and feel pulled towards these actions? Now, this might seem simple, but this is literally the strategy that we use with our clients on a high level. Now, of course, there's a lot of individual strategies that we do to be able to get somebody to do this, but this is what's happening at a very high level. Now, once you do that, really you're just cycling through 1 through 3 consistently. And over time, step 4 happens, where you solidify and create a new fit identity. Now, you might say to yourself, who cares about a fit identity? Just give me the abs. And to that I say, that's actually not what will give you long-term results. Now you say, well, hold on a second. It's so much easier to maintain once I have. I don't agree. Not in all cases. It is if you have a fit identity. What is identity? Identity is the strongest force in the human personality. The strongest force in the human personality is staying consistent with the way we see ourselves. So if you think about all the actions that you're doing consistently, taking care of your kids, going to work, doing all these things, you define yourself as these things most often, right? I am an athlete. I am a father. I am a business owner. I'm a coach, whatever. So it's easy for me to be pulled towards these actions. And until we, it can feel on some level like this is all mumbo jumbo in our head, but I promise you, it plays a big role. So over time, the way you create a new identity is you have to gather evidence, because we are a summation of our beliefs and our identity. And we get those by gaining evidence over time about the actions we do in the past. My best example of this is every action you do, or analogy, every action you do is like a vote for the person you want to become or will become. You don't need every vote to win, but if you cast enough votes for the person you want to be over time, you will win the election. So the person that you are today and how you see yourself today and your self-image is a culmination of every action you've done your entire life with a recency bias, meaning that the most recent actions have a higher weight than the ones that are further back. What does that mean? That's actually a good thing, because what that means is you have more control in the moment to start changing your identity. But here's the thing. If for the last 20 years you have done actions that are just, we'll call them unfit actions, overeating, not exercising, not taking care of your health, not prioritizing your well-being, then you've casted 20,000 votes for being the person you are right now. But that's okay, because there's a new election being held every moment. And there's votes being cast every moment where, yes, let's say you get started with a coach, you're rocking and rolling, cool. You start losing weight, transforming your body, you're taking new actions. A month goes by, you've taken 1,000 actions. You've made 1,000 votes for the new person you want to be. But guess what? We still have 20,000 votes for the old you. So it's 20,000 versus 1,000. Your identity hasn't changed yet. And I think that's why a lot of the time we're a month in, we say, well, I don't feel like I'm a new person yet. You're right, because you're not. You're only 1,000 in. But that's 1,000 votes. And eventually what happens is the slow process of casting those votes, 2 years from now, you have 30,000 votes for the new fit person, 20,000 votes for the old person you were, and now that new identity takes over. This is who I am. If you ever talk to someone and let's say you're like, they have extraneous circumstances happen, they have a super busy day, yet they still are going to the gym, and you're like, are you insane? Why are you going to the gym? Like, you gotta you're gonna what do you mean? You must be exhausted from your workday and all this stuff. And they're like, yeah, but I'll feel worse if I don't go to the gym. And it's like, well, how are you? And if you quiz that person and try to figure out, why are you doing this? How do you feel pulled towards these actions? Ultimately, you will always lead back to the same thing. They say, well, that's just who I am. Your identity. If you want to change your identity, you have to do new actions. But this is the problem. It's cyclical, because if you want a new identity, you have to do new actions. But if you want new actions, you have to start creating a new identity. Right? Where do you start? This is why having a coach can be so impactful. And I'm not here to say oh man, use our program, use our coaches. No, I don't care if you do or don't. I guess I shouldn't say that, because I want you to break through. But at the same time, I'm not here to sell you. Go to a different coach. Go to the coach that you think is going to help you break through. But what I can tell you is, if you've worked with a coach in the past and they haven't gotten you the result you want, don't go back. And the result might not be physical. I mean long-term. Because in my belief, a coach not only should be able to give you a physical result, but should be able to set you up so that when you're done working with them, you no longer ever need another coach. That's my opinion. I might have high standards, but that's what I believe we offer. And that's what I believe we focus on, is the psychology of weight loss. So if this is resonating, let me know in the comments. I don't want to ramble on too long about this or go for a long time, but I really just want to paint the picture of a few things. Number one, no matter what you've done in your life before, I can promise you that you can have this breakthrough. I promise you. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to get you all hyped up or, to be able to sell you something. I'm really telling you because I have the evidence. I've worked with people that have said, I've heard it so many times, over 1,000 times in the last 15 years. of people saying my body is different because of X. You know, I have this hormone imbalance. I have this. I have an autoimmune disease. This thing happened to me. You know, whatever it is. You know, I have childhood trauma. Like I have things that inside my head are just weighing me down. Whatever it is, I can promise you that there has never been a physical thing that has stopped anyone I've ever seen, not saying there won't be one day, but so far, from breaking through. That's a good news. Because what that means is no matter why you believe you cannot break through, I promise you, you can. Do not become a victim. When you become a victim, you give up all your power. Yes, it's comforting on some level because it means we don't have to try anymore. But if you really want to break through, you have to get a new belief that this is possible. And the best way to do that is by getting around people who are doing it. Like, for example, Kira, you know, shout out to Kira if you watch this. Kira just posted recently about, you know, her transformation. She's lost 1 pound a week for the last 20 weeks. You know, what would be considered by other people a slow pace, what I consider spot on. She's lost purely 1 pound of fat per week. Not she lost 40 pounds and 20 of it was fat. Like she lost 20 of legitimate like weight. And she's probably even gained skeletal mass, you know, muscle and some water mass, right? And some water weight, which is good. You want water in your body. Shouldn't be taking diuretics and stuff, right? We want to be hydrated. The majority of Americans are mildly dehydrated at all times, which plays a huge role on your performance. And especially if we're dealing with numbers in life and death, we probably should be at our top performance. So keep hydrating. All this to say, you have the power to change. You have the power to become the person you want to be. And all you need is to get different input. If you want to change your beliefs and you want to change, you know, your results in anything, you have to change your actions. To change your actions, you have to change your thinking. To change your thinking, you have to change your input. And that's why I make these. I say the same thing roughly every single time I get on. Maybe I say it in a slightly different way, but for the most part, I'm coming on to tell you what you already know. You were not born to survive. You were born to thrive. And if your life isn't the way you want it right now, and I don't care if it's fitness or any other way, you can change it. You can grow. And if there's something about your body that you've been wanting to change for a long time, but you just feel like it's been impossible, I can promise you it is possible. You just need the right way. But don't go do the things you did in the past, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result and just doing it consistently. Don't fall into that trap either. Try something new, right? Focus on the infinite game. The difference between the people that are able to lose weight and sustain it forever and the people that struggle for years with yo-yoing, they play infinite versus finite games. Finite games, oh, I just want to lose 20 pounds. And that's all you're focused on. You lose the 20 pounds, but then what? The game's over. And then slowly but surely, we gain the weight back. Whereas if we play an infinite game, the goal is not to lose weight. You say, well, no, the goal is to lose weight. No, that's just the surface goal. It's going to happen regardless. The goal is to start and never stop again. The goal is to stay healthy. It's not to get healthy, it's to stay healthy. And you approach these games much differently. The first one, you sprint towards. All right, yeah, you have 20 pounds, go, 6 weeks, and you do it. And then, woo, there's a ticket tape parade, and, you know, I did it, take it before and after. You're like, I'm amazing, and that's great. On the other side, you go slow. You're doing what Kira's doing. She's lost 1 pound a week consistently for the last 20 weeks. And she even said in her post, the highs, you know, there's been ups and downs, but I haven't stopped. I just bounce back from the downs. Magic formula. The difference between the people that are able to sustain their weight, get to their goal and sustain it forever, and not in that yo-yo forever, the game they play is different. I promise you that you'll know you're playing an infinite game when you stop looking at your weight. But if you are still being controlled by that scale, you will be stuck in a finite game. Because think about it. When you're in an infinite game, it does not matter what the scale says because you're never going to stop anyway. So who cares if it says 255 or 154 or, 5 up, 5 down, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing my actions regardless because I enjoy them, because they are low pain, high pleasure, like we were talking about just a moment ago. So hopefully this is resonating for some of you. Hopefully this is resonating and it's impactful. And whether or not you ever work with me or one of the coaches on my team, I really just hope that there's something either I say or one of the coaches says in any of these live videos that resonates with you enough to take new action. Whether that's starting to listen to these podcasts or different podcasts, whether it's starting to distance yourself from input that you're getting currently, whether it's the news or other people in your life that aren't helping you develop the thinking that is required for you to be pulled towards these actions. I mean, this is my life's mission. This is what I'm not going anywhere. And it's been 16 years. Started with my mom wanting to lose 30 pounds, which I started personal training here for 3 months and she gained 5 pounds. It was a shit show. I had no idea what I was doing, but I became obsessed. And from that obsession, I think it only happened because it was my mom, right? After I became obsessed, she lost about 30 pounds in 5 months. And the reason I became obsessed was because I got to see how it affected her behind the scenes. I saw how it affected her relationship with my dad. I saw how it affected her relationship with me and my siblings. She was more patient. She was more playful. She was like I remembered her when she was younger. And that's what's pulled me towards this. And I've tried other things. I've tried to start other businesses and do other things, but nothing pulls me towards, nothing gets me as excited. Nothing pulls me to work more than this and the results we get for people. Because I really do believe when you have a mental and physical breakthrough, life opens up to you. So if you want life to open up for you, keep listening. But this is done for today. Hopefully this is beneficial. And I will provide a link somewhere. If you're interested in working with us, you can apply. We don't accept everyone. I want to make sure that the people coming on are ready to have a breakthrough and have tried a lot of things in the past and are not getting where they want to get to. So wish you guys the best. I love you guys. And I know that sounds super weird because I don't know you, but I feel like I do know you, because in some way or another, every person I talk to, every new person I talk to, the stories aren't the same, but they rhyme. And I feel like if you're listening to this, you're probably similar to where my mom was or have been there 16 years ago. And I don't want you to be there. I don't want you to stay there. So you can break through. I promise. Love you guys, and I will see you soon. Bye.